Hey everyone, I'm getting my last minute setup. I'm really excited because I finally got my Canon camera to work again, which is a lot better than the other one. But I underestimated my time to get ready. Anyways, hope everyone is doing good. Almost got my thing. If you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them. I have some questions from the email that went out that people responded with questions. So I have a couple of those I'm going to answer. Okay, I think I got it. Hi, Jeannie. Got Jeanette, Jocelyn, Brian, everyone who's in the comment section. Tara. Oh, happy birthday, Brian. That's cool. Does anyone scan at Maynard's? Yes, I know people do. I know I have. Who is hot? It was like literally we had to have the heater on yesterday and the day before, which was nice because I could bake my sourdough. And then today it's 8 degrees and I can't have the AC on, otherwise it will be noisy. So we're gonna be sweating live. Anyways, so we have the Michigan meetup coming up. Maybe I should move this back. A little messy here. The Michigan meetup coming up on May 20th. So if you're in the area or if you want to travel, you can travel and go sourcing. There's a ton of stuff to do, especially if you're up in the Midwest and you drive there. I've sourced all over there. There's a lot of good stuff there. So yeah, but that is coming up. Grand Rapids, Michigan, May 20th. If you want to go one-on-one sourcing with me, I have 4 slots available. That all of this, you can go to yoursellinguide.com/store. I believe it's just when you, or if you go to the store, or if you just go to Your Selling Guide at the top, there's a menu that says store. It's all right there. You can go one-on-one sourcing with me. I did it with Belinda in Florida. It was a lot of fun. I had so much fun. I'm, a little bit of an introvert, and so I was super nervous, but it was so fun. We were laughing the whole time and it was a great time. So if you want to do that, or if you just want to come to the meetup and meet other Amazon sellers, that's also available. We're going to do an escape room and we are going to be doing like a happy hour of sorts afterwards. All of it is walking distance. If you do sign up, you'll be emailed a link where you can get a discounted hotel room if you want to, if you're going to stay the night. So yeah, you can't bring the whole family to the meetup, the actual events, only over 21 people, but you can bring your whole family with you if you want and just make a whole weekend out of it. So yeah, there's that again in Michigan, Grand Rapids. I also have the podcast out. I'm really excited. On Wednesday, it's going to be Mark Christensen. So he is Amazon Force _Force. If you guys follow him on Instagram or on Twitter, he is on Wednesday, and it's a really good interview. I've also had on Becky, I've had on Jocelyn, and I've had on Samantha so far. I've recorded a couple more interviews. I'm really excited. I'm probably going to end up doing more interviews than just me solo show. So it's been really fun. So if you want to be a guest on the podcast, you are welcome to. It's called Your Selling Podcast, and you can email me podcast@yourselling_guide, and I will email you back a schedule, or just email me a little bit about you. It doesn't matter if you're new to Amazon, if you've been selling for a while, all different. We all have different info. And so it's really good to hear other people's stories. So hope you enjoy that podcast. It's wherever you listen, and also on YouTube. There's a channel for it called Your Selling Podcast. Okay. My tax video has been getting a lot of comments. So did you guys all file your taxes already? Are you last minute? Are you been doing it today? Samantha's here. Samantha also has a YouTube channel. She sells in Canada. She was on the podcast 2 weeks ago. Hers is episode 9 if you want to listen to it. Roses. Yes, that is a really good store. I always found Roses Express, and it's only, I think it's only in the South. I'm not sure. I know that's where I've always seen it, but they have really good toys, because for whatever reason, they get the toys that have been sold out everywhere else for like years. And so they're like I remember I sold some Jurassic Park toys from there. It was awesome. Jocelyn did her taxes today. Brian did his last month. I had to pay taxes, so they were done last month, but I only just paid them last week. I waited to pay them. Okay, so the tax document on my video, hopefully this is old news by now, but it used to be called inventory valuation, and now it's called inventory ledger. If you go to your reports and fulfillment reports under inventory, it is right there at the very top now instead of having to scroll for it. The other big thing is meltables. So meltables it's time. It's hot, right? Almost everywhere, except for in Michigan where it's snowing. But I'm hopeful that the snow is going to end because we still have a whole nother month till the meetup. So if it snows, it snows. So if you're going to do meltables, I prepared a little spreadsheet thing. Let's see if I can figure it out. So I present what I have to add. Oh, hey, there it is. Okay, so if you're going to do meltables, you have to FBM them. Obviously, you can't FBA them. So I just prepared this to like show you what you can do and what's out there. I use Uline for everything, but you can use whatever supplier you want to. There's Granger. For boxes, there's the Boxery. I'm not sure if they do the thermal millers. But anyways, if you're going to do them, it can be highly lucrative because you can't send them FBA. So a lot of people don't tend to do it, so you'll have fewer competition by selling meltables, and you just have to make sure you get them to the customer in time. So that might mean that you need to charge for shipping, which is totally fine because again, there's going to be less competition. You can charge for shipping on it. You might need to ship faster than you typically would, like maybe you're going to have to do priority or 2-day or 3-day UPS instead of just regular ground mail. All things you want to factor in. You might need to make a shipping template that is specific for your meltables because you're going to be charging more. So on Uline, there's these things called thermal mailers. You can see they have it shown here that it's inside of a box. But basically, it's going to help keep like the sun or whatever, the heat out, reflecting out. So I just did like quick math. If you're going to do the 6x10 or the 12x10, let's say this is how they come. I didn't know that I was going to be popped over top of it, but say you're going to do that, then you know it's going to be an extra 76 cents or $1.10. So then you also might want to consider getting these cold packs. Again, if you're buying them in bulk, I just did the 6 ounce 5x4. I don't think you need a whole big one. I'm not really sure. I'm going to be totally transparent here and say I've never done this. I just know what other people in the group do. So you want to polybag this thing though. If you're going to get the ice pack, you want to polybag it so that it doesn't create the condensation in the thing. You want it to stay away from your product. So polybag it and then put it in there. Again, so those are going to cost 48 cents. Let's say if you get the 5x4, your total with everything is $1.25 now to get to your chocolate to the customer safely and not melted. So just buffer that into your shipping, either your shipping or your cost of goods. Buffer it in somewhere, wherever you want. And just make sure that you are accounting for that, because I've seen a couple times throughout the community, people are like shocked by the shipping, or they didn't know they weren't charging shipping. I know one person thought they were getting a shipping credit this whole time. So hopefully your Amazon seller account, the FBM, has gotten rid of that shipping credit. It might be a slow rollout. It's off for me, but some people still have it on there. So for FBM, it's really great because you can finally use the Amazon app to calculate if you're going to make money on FBM when you scan something. But there was someone who thought that they were getting that credit the whole time. So you want to make sure you know what's going on with your numbers, right? So just factor in all of that stuff. How you know if something's meltable. So if you search, this is just a screen grab from Seller Central. If you search meltable, you're going to get the very first thing that pops up. And then you scroll all the way to the bottom and there's this Excel sheet called Excel. You can check your ASINs there. Or if you have RevSeller like I have, or IP Alert Chrome also have, it's this pop-up box, so you can see it's meltable with the red right there, or eye peeler is popped up where it's green. I did Cadbury eggs, so green check that there's no IP, and the snow cone means that, or ice cream, I guess, means that it is meltable. And then this is a screen grab of IP alert. Also tells you if things are meltable. So those are what I use. There's the free one, right? If you do the Excel sheet, you don't have to buy anything and you can see if your products are meltable or not. I'm not sure if they did it already, but the email that went out about meltables said that they were just going to dispose of them, period. They weren't going to go stranded and you asked for them back. So you might want to check your inventory if that happened to you or not. So that is my meltable spiel. There's, if you want IP alert, you don't have it, there's code Nikki NIKKI for $30 off. I don't know if I have the whole details. It's in all of my videos at the bottom. It has all my different affiliate codes. Rev sellers there also. I don't think I have a coupon though. Maybe I do. I don't ever do like plain, like straight chocolate. I do things like protein bars that have chocolate on them. And I've never sent them in the thermal mailers. I've just sent them in poly mailers and hoped for the best. But it is hot everywhere now. So you might want to consider doing those. Oops. That is my meltable spiel. Now I'm going to go through all of your comments and questions before I answer some of the other questions that I have here. When you buy similar shoes in bulk, I don't know if I totally understand this question, but if it's like Crocs, it tells you what size is what. The Amazon listing should tell you what it is. And I don't use seller amp, so I don't know what a -1 rank might be, but hope maybe someone could help you in the comments if they hadn't already, because I'm a little bit behind. Angie in the comments has a lot of questions specifically about seller amp. I don't use it, but if there's someone here in the community that wants to help her, 10 or more sellers. I think I'm losing it with the one seller who has 30 plus. It doesn't really matter how, I don't really care how many other sellers have, unless they're tanking it, because you're going to rotate through the buy box. So it really doesn't matter to me unless they have thousands and they're at a low price where I can't compete. Oh, here's Mark. He's going to be on the podcast Wednesday. Hey, Mark. Colin, is OARA smart to start in 2023? Yes. It's smart to start anytime. You can start whichever one that you want to start with. Like some people prefer online arbitrage. I like to go to the store and source that way. So it's just whether or not you like to go into the stores. How do you know which shoes to buy and what sizes? I would be buying, so on Keepa, you can see, this is something actually from when Samantha was on the podcast that I learned. So on Keepa, if you go to the variations tab, I usually just use variations tabs to get the ASIN for other variations that I need. Like, so if they're ever sold out, you can see them on there. But if you can see the review count, so excuse me, if anything has a review recently, then, or relatively recently, like the last 30 days, you know that those are selling, right? Because people are reviewing them. If something is not selling a lot, then you might not see a review there. So that size. So I don't buy, like when I scan Crocs or, Adidas flip-flops and that kind of stuff, I'm not I'm not buying all the sizes. I'm only buying the sizes that are making money. And so you're getting into the wholesale thing, which is they don't necessarily let you pick, and you're kind of screwed with the sizes and you might have to sell them elsewhere. But that's kind of like a whole other thing. Also, Samantha was talking about on the podcast that it has a little trophy, and I had to dig to find the trophy. So the trophy means the best seller out of all the variations, but I don't know if that's a Canada thing or it's more on Canada, because took me a long time to find it. But I did find where you can use the reviews to help guide you. So the more it's getting reviews, obviously it's selling a lot because customers are reviewing, versus ones that don't have any reviews. So maybe it's not selling a lot. But yeah. How do you handle returns? So I don't really track. I use Sellerboard to track all of my numbers and stuff like that. As far as like FBA returns, it's all just happening without me. That's part of why you're paying for FBA. For FBM, I look in there occasionally, especially if I've seen that one that's supposed to come back, because you don't do anything if you've not gotten that return back to you for FBM, because they may not ever return it. And in that case, it falls off. It falls off. It's supposed to be after 45 days, but they've been staying on there a little bit longer, but they do eventually go away. So there's not really a whole lot to do with the returns, especially if you're only doing FBA. Lori asked about OA Challenge. So I bought it last January. I haven't taken it, but the good thing about it is that you can do it anytime. So I do plan to go through it. I have a lot of community members who have gone through it and they really learn a lot. There's certain things, again, I've not gone through it, that I do recommend it though. Like everyone learns so much. You'll learn Keepa, you'll learn online, you'll learn tactile arbitrage. But there are some things that I've heard that are taught about pricing and fast flipping, and y'all know I don't agree with that. So there's that part of it, but you are smart business people. I know you want to make money, so I'm not really worried that you're going to be fast flipping and price tanking, but there is that part of it. But as far as like a deep dive into what everything Keepa does, Samantha who was teaching me on Keepa, has done it. Yeah, you'll learn a lot. That's for everything. I've never heard a bad thing about it. So you can, at yoursellingguide.com/OA, you can get a link that goes to it, or you can just Google, what is it, online, the OA challenge. Okay. So from the email that went out today, Joe asked, what apps do you use to determine a good buy while in store? What steps do you take with the decision? Can you be specific? I do OA. I can't just figure RA out. So I have a lot of videos on how I figure it out, but I use the Amazon Seller app. It's what I've always used. I know people like Seller Amp. I just figure whatever you want to learn on, you're going to like that. I learned on the free one because I'm all about the free stuff and it's already there. So I use that app. I'm always looking for $5 minimum profit. Some people can get really caught up, especially when you're new or just mad at Amazon, in the fees. The fees are always going to be there. There is so much out there that still makes money regardless of what that fee is. So if you put in on your Amazon Seller app and you put in the cost of the item and it doesn't make $5 profit, and you can look at it and get mad at the fees, or like I do, I just put it back on the shelf and I go on and I scan the next item. There's no being mad about it is not going to help you. Just keep scanning other things. I have my rank guidelines. Again, they're free. It's a free download on the website. So it tells you what categories are safe. And by safe, I mean that you know that that item is going to sell in 1 to 3 months. One of the mistakes new sellers make is buying stuff that is really high ranked or no rank at all. And what happens is it doesn't sell and you kind of get stuck with it and you've wasted your precious money when you're starting out because you don't have a lot of money to do it. So you want stuff that's going to sell fast. And that's where my comfortable ranks go. So if it's within the comfortable rank guideline, it makes $5 profit. The ROI, I do 50%. You can really, it's up to you. If you want to spend $20 to make $5, be my guess. That's just for me. If I'm gonna spend $20, I want to make at least $10 profit, and that's where that part comes in. It's it's one of those things people want a magic bullet and just an aha moment, and it really is that you just have to get out there and scan it. You'll get it as you're doing it. Like, you can watch a million YouTube videos and you're still going to have the same questions. You just have to get out there and start scanning, and it promise you it will make sense. You'll make a lot of mistakes and you will think you don't know what you're doing. It's like learning a foreign language. You're not going to understand it all at once, but you slowly will begin to understand it. Anne asked about the buy box suppression, which actually someone else asked about. So Resita asked, price tanking. Is it price tanking if no one is selling much with a suppressed featured offer? Do you drop your price to get that suppressed box there? No, there's no reason. That suppressed box does not mean that people aren't buying it. That, if anything, that means you can actually sell it for more and make more money. Amazon gets rid of the buy box when they think the price is too high, but people are still buying it, and you know that by the rank. So Anne's question. Yeah, so the same thing. Like, you can I actually love a suppressed buy box because I think it's like, yay. Like, I'm not worried about that Amazon thinks the price is too high, because people, again, I'm sure you guys have bought stuff. Like, people are gonna buy more options and figure it out. I actually just bought an umbrella yesterday, and they're on the little thing of variations. It said the gray one was $99, and I'm like, sweet, that goes with my stuff anyways. And then when I had to click because it was a suppressed buy box, and then it turned out the $99 one was used, so I didn't get that one. But I still clicked through the suppressed buy box, and I bought a different color umbrella that was $149. But anyway, so that it doesn't affect anything. Like, people are still going to buy it. You don't have to lower your price to hopefully that it gets there. If anything, you're going to sell out at the lower price, and everyone else is going to go back to the higher price. So, I mean, you're just kind of doing yourself a disservice. Mark said that. So I don't know. I couldn't find it. I was like looking through Adidas shoes. I finally got one to use for the reel, but I couldn't find it when I was looking. I looked in the app first, and I do see it on the desktop, but I couldn't get it. Becky said the suppressed buy box means more money is being made. Joseph. So all items with the same SKU, same expiration date in the FBA. So what happens is when you're doing your shipment and you're putting what's in the box, if you have more than one expiration date on the product, so say you have 5 products and they have 2 different expiration dates, you would have to break them up into the 2 different boxes so that it goes there. Or what I do is I just pick the date that's closest, and then I just put them in whatever box I want to. That's what I do. But that's what that would mean. As soon as you add another expiration date, you're going to notice that it adds another layer because you have to put what box it in, which it just has to be separate boxes, not totally different shipments. Excuse me. Liz, I find it a bit hard to pay for all the subscriptions. FBA monthly fees, Keepa, Accelerus, Seller Board comes out to $109 a month. Is the answer to just step up my game and cover all the cost, or what? So you don't need, you have to pay Amazon, obviously. I think you need Keepa. As far as Seller Board and Accelerlist, well, I think Accelerlist is like Inventory Lab, but either way, those are nice to have. Those are not things that you have to sell on Amazon. I like the way that Becky thinks of it. So she'll be out there sourcing, and she's like, oh, cool, I found this one thing that makes $100 profit. That one thing is going to now pay for, my subscriptions for the month or whatever. So she just breaks it up differently in your mind, whether or not you want to step up your game or not. I would start by, if you don't necessarily need all of these things, then maybe step back. When I first started, I got Inventory Lab, and I never used it to pack shipments. So if I wasn't using it for that, it totally didn't make a lot of sense. So I turned it on and off a lot when I first started. Like, it didn't necessarily make sense to me to have it every month. Now that I use it for shipments, I've just paid for the whole year because I know I'm going to use it all the time. If you are like all in on this and you're set to make your business work, look for those models. Like, if you can pay through the year and save a little money, there's things like that. But I would just say, like, if you don't need it, also, so there's some things, so like Seller Amp, I believe you don't have to have a keep a subscription because it's also in there. Yeah, so there's different ways to like bundle your stuff together, but at the end of the day, you don't really need anything. If you need funds are tight, you can turn them on and off. Yes, apparently a lot of you are getting, I got the Crocs thing too. So what happens? Okay. You all own your own businesses. You do what you want to do. This is just me talking what I know, what I've observed, and what I do personally. So there are sellers out there who literally hire VAs to send out these questionably fake documents to other sellers to get them off their listing. So I just posted this in the Bolo group because I got the Crocs one. Funnily enough, the same point that I sold a Crocs, like literally within minutes, so I was in the buy box. So what probably happened is a seller went through there or their VA and went and just emailed a bunch of people. So if you happen to also sell at the same time you got the letter, I reported the seller, or buyer, I should say, because it comes through as a buyer message. I reported the buyer, and then that was my first time reporting them, because normally what I do is mark no response needed. So when I reported it, it didn't go out of my box. So after that, I went ahead and I said no response needed, and I reported them as harassment or whatever. That is like the last little toggle there. If you get one through a buyer message, anytime actually you get a buyer message and it doesn't have an order number on it, that is not your customer and you do not have to respond to them. If it has an order number attached, that is your customer and you do need to respond to them. So just know that that is a real thing, that sellers who, I don't know, they got too much stock or whatever, they want to win the buy box, that's what they do. Never once have I ever heard of anyone having anything happen to them in 6 years of selling. Never heard it happen. Now, when they go through, when it's like and some of them have even sent me certified mail, but I mean, I could send you a certified mail, so that doesn't mean anything. Your address is there, everything. So here's the thing about the Crocs one. Not only is like they used my storefront name, which is not my legal, if it's a legal thing, right? Are you going to use my legal business name? No. So they used my storefront name and everything looks like copy pasted. And so, yeah, it doesn't scream real to me. And I got one another time. Becky and I both got it. It was kind of funny. And so they kept emailing, like but in their email, it's like, or buyer messaging, in their thing, it says like, tell us where you got it and say you've gotten this, you've received this. You don't have to tell anyone anything. You can Google it. The only reason you ever have to answer for anything is if it's from Amazon, because we sell on Amazon. But if you were a mom and pop store on the side of the road, you wouldn't have to answer to anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. Again, I'm not a legal expert, but because it's actually against the law, you don't have to disclose where you got your stuff. Anyways, but because we sell on Amazon, we do have to answer to Amazon. Just like if the state was asking where you got something, you might have to answer the state. But anyways, so I got one. They were like, tell me when you got it, blah, blah, blah. So then I ignored it. I got another one, ignored it. Then they, I guess, certified mail me. Meanwhile, Becky's over on LinkedIn looking up the guy. It's an Amazon seller, you guys. Like, you can research who these people are if you really want to. The ones that I do that aren't from Amazon that I do take action on are the ones from actual legal people. So Vorys or whatever is one. It's like VORY. They like FedEx overnight stuff. And I like ignored the first one. I priced to move it. The next day, I think I got one on Friday, and then the following Monday, I got another one. So this legal company, again, not doing anything wrong, but these lawyers clearly have a lot of money to be overnighting me this stuff. So I just cut my losses on it and pulled it down. I got one that was like 3 years ago. I got one recently last year. So I think it's Super Goop is one of them that I got. So just FYI, they're an IP. But yeah, so the Crocs seems to be going around. Some sellers got a VA that they're paying to do it. So you can do what you want to do with it. I'm ignoring and I'm selling the heck out of some Crocs right now. Let's see. Rosita asks, if a brand is on the listing, is it the same as Amazon being on it? No. So if a brand is on the listing and they're the only one selling, I don't even bother because it's usually IP. Like, you know, you're probably going to get an IP. But if you look on Keepa and there used to be other offers on it, you can go. So I need a brand. Let's say Murad, because I don't think anyone can sell it. If Murad is on the listing for the thing you scanned, you can also go look at other Murad listings and see, do they have other sellers also on those ones? And just the one you happen to have is only the brand. If that's the case, then I usually will list it because they're fine with them on the other one, right? One thing I did want to point out was if you're selling with the brand, you better be pricing what the brand is, because that is why it boggles my mind. It makes no sense to undercut the brand. The brands are, that's why people give out IPs. That's why they protect their brands on Amazon, because of sellers like that who will then undercut them. And you're devaluing the brand. You're devaluing everything they've worked for by pricing it lower. So if you ever sell with the brand, make sure you're pricing it with the brand. That is, it's just going to be better for you overall. And it will be better for just the value of the brand. And, you know, they'll probably be fine with you selling it when you're not, you know, taking their stuff. Okay, going back through yours comments here. CC, I do FBA. I have a lot of returns that say missed delivery date, did not receive. So yeah, if it's an Amazon FBA, which is what you said you do, then Amazon will reimburse you for that return. It's going to take 45 to 60 days. It used to be 45. I think they've changed it to 60. So that's why I'm always saying 45 to 60. But it will take a while before you get that reimbursement, but you'll get that reimbursement because it was not your fault. You didn't do anything, right? It was Amazon. What do I mean, Diana asked, by fast flipping? Fast flipping is like the people who are undercutting a penny or 50 cents or whatever, trying to sell it fast for whatever reason. Everything, like I have stuff that sold, was waiting for the UPS pickup. You know how when you tell Amazon what day you're going to send it, they start doing that head start thing. And so things were selling while they were sitting in my driveway. Like that is, and that's at the price, you know, because when I send stuff in, I price it above the buy box $1 or $2 because while things are moving around. So those are selling. That's fast flipping, but I'm not doing anything by dropping the price to hit that. Normally what people are flipping, they say they want to sell it in weeks. I like to sell it by the 90-day mark. I'm fine with stuff sitting for a month while it moves around the warehouse, because I don't think people are understanding. And if you guys are following my videos, I'm sorry, because you've heard me say this a million times, but when you send something in, that stuff's going to transfer around the warehouses, and it might take 3 to 4 weeks to finally settle and be available, depending on where you had to send it and where your warehouses are. So what is the point of pricing something $1 under, 50 cents, a penny under, when your stuff's not going to sell because it's not even available? The customer wants it now. Amazon wants the customer to get it now. So pricing stuff is just like a huge disservice to yourself. And everyone wants to know about replens, right? That's like the golden word. How do I find a replen? How do I make a replen? You know how you make a replen? It's not by tanking the price, that's for sure. If you're going to drop your price, so are other sellers. Price tanking does not happen with one seller. It happens with many sellers. You can't, if one seller goes low, they'll sell out. But if it's the other sellers or the repricers who are going to keep matching that happens. I recently set up Be Cool. I've got like 20 listings maybe set up for it. So I'm still really in the early stages. But if you've set up a repricer, it's actually set when I made the rules. If you select it, it's automatically going 1 penny under. So you have to physically go and change it. So I had to change all of them to be 0. I'm not trying to undercut by a penny. So if you're not paying attention and you're not setting up your repricer right, it's already ingrained to do that. Even someone in the Bolo group shared that even on Seller University, it on Amazon's YouTubes or whatever they are, it says like that's how you win the buy box. That is not, that's like one small factor in like 10 things. So it's just frustrating that that is even what Amazon's saying, because if you've been selling on Amazon, you know that you can actually win the buy box and make money above the lowest price. So it doesn't really matter about that. So when I say flipping fast, I actually stopped using that term, or quick, and like saying those kind of vague terms like 2 years ago. I still remember I was sitting on my parents' back porch filming a video because it is kind of vague and I wasn't clarifying. So now I'm trying to clarify. I like to sell a month to 3 months. I'm fine waiting if the price tankers. I'm selling stuff this month that I bought on Black Friday. Like the price tanked down. And it's just finally starting to come up where I'm comfortable making a couple dollars. Is nothing that I thought it was going to make, but I waited. I don't even know how long ago that was at this point. Was that like 5 months ago? Because it wasn't worth it for me to take a loss when I know the price will come back up. Yeah, when I first got my, George says not against the law. It's like the first cell doctrine or something. When I first got the email from the Vures or whatever, this is like in 2019, the legal firm, I'm like Googling them and I'm Googling what is against the law and all that. So again, I'm just a Google lawyer. I'm not a real lawyer. So don't believe me, but everything I've read is that exactly that. You're not doing anything wrong. Yeah. Crystal said if they're Markham spam harassment, those buyer messages. Another thing I was writing in my post about the whole Crocs thing is that if you've gotten an IEP, you know there was never a warning. It just comes. So Amazon, it's like even the one that was like threatening me day after day, it was like, we're going to go through Amazon. And like, cool, do it then. Like they don't. So because they don't have any authority, because they're probably another seller. All right, what other questions? What is an IP complaint? So IP is intellectual property, and it's basically a brand has like, you can register your brand on Amazon. So you can make a brand and you can register it on Amazon. And to protect your brand, you can tell Amazon this is an unauthorized seller on it. IP and counterfeit, the same thing happens. You have to pull down your listing if it comes from Amazon. The email says policy warning. That's what the subject line says, and then it tells you what it is in there. Now you can just acknowledge the complaint and they will go away. There are some instances where some people have said that is not an option and you have to send in your receipts and all that. But for the most part, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I got 5 all like back to back to back while I was recording a podcast. I got off the phone and then there was 5 IPs. I got them all off in a matter of minutes by just acknowledging the complaint. Whenever it comes through Amazon, even if you fight it and you say it's not counterfeit, they're gonna hit you again. So don't try and resell it, because they're not like, even if you contacted the brand and they say, okay, it's fine, they don't have a way. It's an automatic system. So they're going to get hit again. So I just tell people, pull it off, cut your losses. You do have to kind of fight with Amazon to get it back, because it stays in like a purgatory at Amazon. So I do have some that I'm waiting for them to release back to me. So that does kind of suck. But as far as getting it off your account, that's really good. If you don't acknowledge and you don't do anything about them, should you get them, you can get shut down. That's what happened to me my first year. So I had one and I didn't know I was supposed to do anything. I just deleted the listing, and then I got another one and they got shut down. So it's basically like, it's saying that you're infringing on their trademark or whatever. It's the same thing. You're not, but because again, we sell on Amazon, we have to play by the rules. How do you stay consistent in the buy box? I honestly don't. There's a report you can pull on Amazon. I don't remember where it is. I think it's like here. I'll go look real fast. But you can see how much you're actually in the buy box. I don't really care. I know I'm making sales, so it doesn't matter to me. I was there at some point, right? Because I got sales. So I just am pricing competitively, and that's usually above the buy box. So in Amazon, you go to reports, business reports. My internet is slow. And then I go by ASIN, detailed page in sales and traffic. You can download this report if you want to, like as an Excel file. But it tells you, so I've got this first item here. It tells you how much where is it? One of these things says buy box. So it'll tell you, oh yeah, featured buy box percentage. I was in it 60% of the time. So I was in it a lot, which is why I sold out of all of them, because I just sold out of them a couple weeks ago. That was an FBA thing. So that's how you can see how much, if you want to see buy listing, how much you're in the buy box by the whatever range. I think yeah, so this was the last 30 days. It's automatically set to. So you can pull that report. I know when you like open your thing, your Seller Central, it says like mine does anyways, like 1% is my buy box, whatever. But then I was in it 60% and I'm selling stuff, so I'm clearly in it. So I really don't pay attention to that stuff. You're welcome. Travis, can you touch on resale certificates? Okay, so again, I'm not a tax person. I have actually, so because I sold before this whole, what is it called? Marketplace facilitator went out. Like that's a new law that's finally rolled out across all of the states. But I used to sell before that. So I actually had a lot of resale certificates in a lot of different states. They are very pleasant to just talk on the phone. In fact, I had to call a state yesterday, or no, today. Today's Monday. Today to ask about something again. So you can actually talk to a real life person and it's really helpful. But what it is so you get it from your state or any state that you want to get it from, actually. And then you can go buy stuff and not pay sales tax when you buy it. The only place I've heard it doesn't work at Ross. I know they told me no, but I've also heard some people do. I've never tried to use it at Target, but I know some people do. So you can use it pretty much anywhere. You don't have to say you're reselling. Just ask them, do they take tax exempt forms? Yes or no. So that's that part of it, and it's really good. Now, when you have to file it, your state will tell you, or wherever you got it from, will tell you when you have to file. Some states are every month, some states are quarterly, some states are twice a year, and some states are just once a year. If you get a once a year, it's really good. If after a couple months, if you have to do it every month or every quarter, and you're always filing the same thing, which is zero, because if you're only selling Amazon, Amazon is doing all the tax for you. You don't have to do anything. They are taking it and they're giving it to the state. You can call the state and say, hey, like this is what I'm doing. Can we change it so I only have to do this once a year? What I do, again, not a tax professional, I just pull my gross sales and I put it in there for whatever my gross sales are. And then I take, I think it says like marketplace facilitator or non-taxable or whatever. I put that same number there and then it ends up being zero at the end of it. So that's what I do with that. See, I know they have a resale policy, but I have actually talked to quite a few people who use it there. And actually, I'm just so in my mind of like, say no, say no, say no. But one girl, because I had so many toys during Q4, she was like, oh, they're using tax exempt. I could have said yes and used it there, but I was just like, no. And so I paid a lot of tax on that order. But you can, I mean, especially, I think once you're in the system too, it makes it easier. So if you just have like a little couple of things, you might as well ask, especially if it's not a Target you normally go to, you know. But you can get, if you buy online at Target, your Target.com accounts can get flagged for that. So just be careful of that part of it. I always order like small quantities and multiple orders from Target. That FedEx guy was here all the time during Q4. For every product, do you need to take approval from the brand? Nope. It's like it'll say you can sell it or not. So if it says you're gated or restricted, then that would be where you have to get an invoice to get ungated in it. And it always says, and it can be confusing, but it's like one or the other. So it'll say you need to have an invoice or a letter from the brand. You can do either one. Obviously, an invoice is a lot easier for us to get than trying to get a brand to even open our emails. Small and light. I still haven't. So you enroll your under $12 ASINs in it. I need to do it because you can make a lot more money for those small things. But I still haven't done it yet. But I think you just make a spreadsheet and upload it. I don't know. Hopefully someone in the... I know we talk about it a lot in our RA 100 group. So there's help there. Kayla found a profitable cosmetic, but there's no expiration date. So on cosmetics and beauty items, there's like a little canister looking thing with a little lid open, and it says 12 months or 6 months or 18. It has like a number there. That's how many months it's good after it opens. So if Amazon's the one asking for the expiration date when you make your shipment, you can just say, like, make up a date. I make up a date like December of next year. You make up whatever date you want. Yeah. Gary, are you still getting regated? I actually just got, I don't know if this, I think everyone got it. So Murad, I used to be able to sell Murad, but then they gated it. I got gated in Crayola. I don't know what that's about. Did you guys all get that too? I mean, I could go get ungated again. I just never really sold a lot of Crayola to make it worth it to get ungated again. But that was crazy. So it's very rare. And like, Shiseido or whatever, that they just gated their whole brand again. I think they're now premium. So I have some stuff I'm trying to sell elsewhere, but they do let you know ahead of time. So you're like, I think it was November was the Shiseido or whatever. Maybe it was January. I can't remember. The Crayola was last year. So that you can get rid of everything. Oh yeah, CFAB said Crayola restricted everyone recently. Samantha got regated in Hatchimals. So it does happen. So Crystal, I've been worried that that's going to happen. You can get one in another state though. If it only has a lot number as far as expiration date, that means it doesn't have an expiration date on it. Some people will like Google. There's like a website that says different manufacturers and their lot numbers. Again, I just make it up from Amazon. If it needed to actually have the expiration date on it by law, it would be on there. So I'm not really worried about it, whether or not it has it, because Amazon asks for them. I make them up. Oh yeah, Crystal's going to go get one in Nevada now. Good idea. The only state that really, really sucked was Florida, because they would, if you were late by a day, or if you paid a freaking penny under whatever they said was due, because this happened to me on multiple occasions, I could not wait to shut that thing down. I got charged like something like $100, it was like $50 late fee right off the bat, or $50 you didn't pay on time because you're paid under it. And it was so many freaking fees to the state of Florida. I will never do business there. I'm never going to get one of them again. It was awful. I feel bad if you guys are in Florida having to deal with that, but you already know. You got to file it on time and to the exact dang amount. Because then they charged me a fee. So I think I was late and then I paid it like that day it was due or whatever, a day late. Then because it accrued whatever fee or interest or whatever, I was then another fee on top of that fee. It was insane. Don't even get me started. Yeah, $50. I'm in Florida. Yeah, I have to have an auto reminder. Betty, no, you don't. Okay, so if you only sell on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure even like eBay does it too now, because any of the big softwares like that fall under that marketplace facilitator, you do not have to get one. If you're selling stuff like at your own website, and so that website has to take the sales tax and remit it, then you would need to figure out or hire someone to do it. But if you're just selling on Amazon, you don't have to worry about getting it in every state. That was back in like 2018 or whatever, before all of this took off. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to scroll back to the top because I feel like I probably missed some. So how do you handle missing discrepancies? Amazon is getting really weird. So you used to be able to, and I would still actually send my receipts, but I've heard that they're not taking that anymore. But then I also have here, let me find my note. They are supposed to. I have a, let me see if this works still. Did it go anywhere? On this page. Okay, see? Sourcing documentation. The very first thing, copies of invoices, receipts, or other similar to where your products were produced or manufactured. Oh wait, I guess that wouldn't really matter. But I have heard that you could use this. You basically, Amazon doesn't know their own policies. So if you can find their policy and give it back to them, that's a way of fighting it. If I had one recently that they said I sent one extra, and I was like, I didn't, but okay. And so I just accepted it. I haven't had any like massively off ones in a while. If it's just like a couple that are missing, you can try and fight it, and just fight it as much as you can handle it before you just give in and say fine. I always try to fight with Amazon on anything because you can usually get whatever response out of them that you want as long as you are diligent enough. But yeah. Thank you, Betty. Lancome is premium. I think that's another one that recently, is it regated or not? Because I thought Becky got ungated, but maybe it was a different one. Let's see. Fulfillment center. Normally, so mine are the same as yours. Normally, I used to everything go to Dallas, but now it's been going to Memphis. Or some of them have been split. Oversized are always going to go to their own. While it's annoying when you get one that's like a small one, I actually think of it as better because if it's a small amount going to one warehouse, it's not going to really transfer around afterwards. It's just going to be available as soon as it gets there. So it is annoying. You can turn on inventory placement, but if you've been selling for a while, you're going to end up paying more money that way anyways than probably you would have paid if you just sent it to where they wanted it. But if your stuff is going to 2 warehouses, I would just be happy with that because that's pretty standard. Inventory placement, I'm not sure what it is now, but I thought it was like almost $1 extra fee per item or something. So I definitely would not do that unless you're brand new and you don't have a lot of inventory and you don't want to be sending it multiple places. Also, I've noticed, like, I use Inventory Lab and I've used it for like a year and a half now. when I'm entering my shipment, it will say like it has little things where it says like this one product is going to go to these 3 warehouses. But then when I finally do it, it all goes to one warehouse. So I don't even pay attention to that either because it can stress you out. And at the end of the day, they're going to go to the one warehouse. Struggling with grocery. I tend to do the same. Like I scan coffee, like at all those stores. Like, so I don't even actually haven't scanned all these grocery in a while because it's usually like either cans, and I'm not really interested in sending cans, or it's like just weird shaped, or it's gonna get crushed. It's like cookies in a bag or something like that. So I just have skip over it and I focus on other areas of Ollie's. But there is groceries out there that are not too close to expiration date, so it can be worth it to scan them anyways. I don't actually scan a whole lot of grocery except for places. Actually, I haven't done a lot of grocery now that I think about it. I do like coffees. I'll do some cookies sometimes. So like the snack aisle at Walmart. The key with Walmart and anything is if you can find it easily, so can every other seller and other YouTubers posting stuff at Walmart. So if the harder it is for you to find it, the more likely it's going to hold stable. So if it's a bundle, if it's a couple different things together, or if you want to try out making a bundle and put grocery couple things together, that can really help. But if you find it really easily at Walmart, so is everyone else. So just something to keep in mind. That doesn't necessarily mean the price will tank, but it might slowly slip away. So just be aware of that. Samantha asked, can you tell us more about your RA sourcing schedule? How often are you going back to the same stores to source? So I source all day and I go hard. Like I leave at dark and I come back at dark. I have a couple different loops that I do, and actually no matter where I'm at, like even when I go back home to Oregon, there's loops there. So you can use Google Maps, or I already forgot if Becky's still here, she can say it. I think it's like something Warrior or Road Warrior or something. There's an app that you can like plan out your routes. I went to Oklahoma City I think it was a month ago now, and I filled up my car in literally one shopping center because I got a lot of shoes, so it was like a lot. And I was just tired, and so I think I was still sick at the time, and so I just called it and went home early that day. I got home at like 2, which is early. And then I went back 3 weeks later to that same shopping center and found a bunch of stuff. So I do say that you want to give it a couple of weeks in between. So that's why if you can make loops and drive a little ways, if your schedule allows it, you can alternate between the loop. And that way the stores have time to restock the items that you just bought or whatever. And that way, if you're chasing something at like TJ Maxx, you can go to another TJ Maxx and then another TJ Maxx all within your loop. So my sourcing schedule right now, actually for most of the year, I do every other week anyways. And so then I go every other week. Plus I have different loops. And so it just makes it where there's always something out there. I do know that there's some stores I do better at than others. Even in Oklahoma City, there's so many stores there, right? I can tell like that there are sellers there because all these stores, people tell me that all the time, but they don't buy one, what I'm buying, or two, they won't drive. There's 2 Ollies there and there's stuff at one that's not at the other. So even people in their own city aren't driving across to the other Ollies. I don't know why, but I'm gonna go get it. So, and I'm not even close to it. So it's like there's things like that if you're not even going to drive 30 minutes in your same city to the other town, other location, that should be a loop. Maybe you don't do it in the same day, but you can do it. So I always recommend traveling, driving, but I think I'm going to stop doing it because that just means there's more stuff for me out there if no one wants to go get it. Oh yeah, Road Warrior. I say it sounds like a RV to me, so that's why I wasn't sure I was saying it right. Um, so like the inflation kind of hurt in the was it the beginning of this year when it kind of got real crazy, but people are still buying stuff. It just like the weirdest thing to me was like Tuesday morning adding another price sticker on top of the other price sticker. And I understand like TJ Maxx, something that used to get for $4.99 is now $5.99 because they had to pay different price when they bought it. But the thing with Tuesday morning, which was just pissing me off, was like I know you already had this. You already paid whatever you paid for it. So it's not that it went up, but this she's like, "Oh, inflation." But there's still stuff out there. There's still things even with Amazon's rising fees and all of that, there's still stuff out there to find and make money. So again, that goes back to you can't get caught up in the fees and thinking that Amazon's out to get you. Amazon is out to help you make this business work. They're not going to literally help you, but they have this platform out there that you can use and you can make money if you really want it. You have to put in the work. It is not easy, but there is money out there to be made, either as just a bonus side hustle, as a way to pay off some debt, as a way to save for a house, whatever you want to use it, or the way to replace your job that you hate. It's the sky is the limit with what you want to do with it. And so you can't get caught up in the nitty gritty details of like, you can get mad, you can vent, you can get upset, like when they don't accept your receipt or you're submitting an invoice and they keep saying no. Like, yes, you can get mad at the way it's working, but at the end of the day, they have this thing for us to work and to make it work, to make your life easier. So think of it always your mental shift. Like your outlook is going to be whatever your outlook is, right? But if you want it to be happy, you have to think that way. Or if you think it's not going to work and it sucks and all that, then it's going to be like that. So you have to really come down to your mentality on that one. Betty, I do more retail. I do online occasionally. Let's see. Candace said she's afraid to call Walmart. So they lost some of mine. Excuse me. If Target does something wrong and like they're really easy, you can use it in the app and say like this item was missing and they'll give you your money back. Walmart has that too. I found out after it was like one of those dollar soap bars. And I was like, it was annoying because it's $1, right? And you have to go. I'm like, do I really want to go through all this for $10 or whatever? But then I finally figured it out that there was a way to do it in the app. I wouldn't be worried about calling them though. If you need, I'm actually dealing with Lowe's on something, which is real annoying, but just until it's like everything, until you get the response that you want, just keep at it. Okay, Samantha. Can't wait for the meetup. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to meet you in person, but I'm just so excited for the meetup. She's coming down from Canada, you guys. So if she's traveling, you can too. And then, of course, shopping the whole way. So I would make a sourcing trip out of it. I am flying, so I can't. But if you're driving there, definitely make a trip out of it. Use your business card for the hotel and all your business expenses and all of that. But yeah, any last minute questions? Hopefully you guys can make it to the meetup. It's a really good time. If you are a new seller, if you've not started selling, wherever you're at in your Amazon journey, or if you're selling on other platforms and you're just kind of interested, or you just want to meet, you're welcome to come. Thank you, Jeannie. Jocelyn's going to be there. I know Jocelyn missed the first one. If you were at the first one, Cynthia's also coming. I think that's all from the first one. I know Connor is joining from the community. And Raya, I think Raya couldn't make the first one, but she's going to be able to make this one. So yeah. I don't have anything that covers wholesale. I mean, my guides cover distributors, which people, you can use them to buy more stuff if you want to. But anything, I don't cover wholesale. Nor would I really, because it's kind of, and don't buy any of the things out there, like the wholesale formula, don't waste your money like I did. I wasted my money, and that was in 2018. And I guarantee you they haven't done anything new or different except for rebranded it. Anyways, so if you can find a wholesaler, you're gonna have to pick up the phone a lot. You're gonna have to call, like, track it down. If, like, I did that when I first started, I was selling a Dr. Scholl's, I think it was, her odor eaters. That's a different brand, right? And I called them. I got on and I got an email, and I was like, "Hey, I'm selling this, and I want to buy more of it." That's all you really have to do. And beyond that, you can make friends with your liquidation stores, with your Ollie managers, with your Walmart managers. Like, you can make friends with all the different managers and go that, like, side door of doing wholesale. Instead of going straight wholesale, you're just getting deals with your stores. So whatever, it's really, the sky's the limit with whatever you want to do. But no, I don't teach it. I'm not going to give you out my suppliers besides what's in the guide, because that is a lot of hard work to find them, and you will appreciate it when you have found your own. Alrighty, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully see you at the meetup, and don't forget to check out Your Selling Podcast, and then email me if you want to be a guest on it, podcast@yourselling.guide.com. Thanks, guys.